Hey everybody, Daniel Moznett here with Cowboy Charcoal coming to you on Bama-Q Live this Friday. Thanks for joining us here today. We've got a great recipe for you featuring some Hassel Cattle Company beautiful beef tenderloin. We've got Cowboy Charcoal. I'm going to walk you through how to get your lump charcoal started. Today we're all talking about flavor. That's all we're really trying to figure out here is how to get more flavor into the foods that we're cooking. Today we're going to cook a spinach and arugula stuffed beef tenderloin. We're going to put some Gorgonzola cheese in there so it gets nice and melty. I've got one going for us right now. You can see what that looks like. We'll get you there in just a few minutes. But right now, I'm going to show you how to get started with your lump charcoal. Now, not everybody knows how to use lump charcoal. Some people may be a little bit intimidated by it because they're not used to the uneven shapes and sizes. But let me show you. Here we have a bag of our Cowboy Oak and Hickory all natural hardwood lump charcoal. And when you first get to your bag, it doesn't matter if you're working with briquettes or lump charcoal, you see this piece of paper right on the top. All you have to do is find the side that's not stitched. This side is not stitched, and just pull the string. And that's how you open a bag of charcoal. A lot of people don't really know that, but just pull the string. You don't need to rip it, you don't need to get scissors, you don't need to get a knife, you don't need to be crazy. Just simple stuff, pull the string. Okay, so now as we look at our lump charcoal, we're looking for pieces, right? We're looking for nice bits, nice pieces, good pieces of oak right here. We've got some nice pieces of hickory in there, right? They're odd shapes. They're not briquettes. This is all natural lumber. We work with the timber industry to make sure that we take some of their fall down material that may not be good enough for a cabinet or a floor, and we take that, we put it into our big concrete kilns. We cook those things down into this nice charcoal that you see here. So to get this started is very simple. I like to use a charcoal chimney, nice and easy. I like to put a few briquettes down at the bottom. Just kind of gives me a nice base. And you can see we've got our Cowboy hardwood briquettes. You can find those briquettes in pecan flavor, oak, mesquite. And then we'll take our lump charcoal. We'll just add lump charcoal. You can see there's some big pieces in there, some small pieces in there, a little bit of everything. And we'll just add that right to the top. To get it started, when you use natural charcoal, you want to make sure that you use a natural starter. You don't want to louse it up with a bunch of chemical fluid starters. You smell them. As soon as somebody walks out to your barbecue, they can see and smell that you're using something that isn't natural. These charcoal starters are just really twisted wood. They're dipped in all natural, non-GMO, non-toxic waxes. So they're all vegetable waxes. You just put a couple of those right underneath. We get our lighter and start it. All right, those are starting nice and easy. Just need about 2. Sometimes you can use 3, but this is what they look like, nice and easy. Just put it right inside there, and we're off and running. Now, it's a little odd. It's a little odd that I've already got this charcoal going here when I already have this up and running. But I wanted to show you how easy it is to get charcoal started. Piece of cake, takes about 10-15 minutes to get it up and burning. And once that starts going, you just put on your glove. I've got a nice pit barrel glove here. You take your glove, you grab your handle, you open your grill, and you just pour it inside. Simple as that, okay? So for now, I'm just going to take this. I'm going to let that go there for a little bit, and let's talk about what we're cooking. So we're cooking our beef tenderloin, okay? When you're using a charcoal barbecue, I like to use 2 sets of tongs. 1 set of tongs for the grill and 1 set of tongs for the food that you're cooking, okay? So as we open this up and we see this beef, it's looking fantastic. I'm just going to take our grill off. I'm going to add, I want to get some nice flavor. We said we were talking about flavor. I'm going to add some cherry chunks. I want to get that smoke going. I'm going to add about 3 cherry chunks. And we're going to add about 3 hickory chunks. So this is just all natural wood, guys. It's simple stuff. It's been kiln dried and treated with just air. You know, it sits in our kilns. We get that moisture out. We heat it. And now that's not all. The other thing that we're going to add to our grill is some of our garlic and onion cowboy hardwood briquettes. And again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to find the end that's not stitched. Looks like it's this end right here. And we're just going to open it up. Pull it right back and pull off the top. Okay, so these are, man, you can smell these. This is just made with real garlic and real onion granules. We put them right into the all-natural briquettes. We're going to add a few of those right to the top. I'll tell you what, guys, this smoke, it smells fantastic already, okay? So we've got a lot of different things going on in our grill today. We've got lump charcoal, we've got chunks, we've got hickory chunks. Oh, smell that smoke, it's awesome. We've got hickory chunks, we've got cherry chunks, we've got garlic and onion briquettes, which is making your backyard smell just like when you cook inside and saute onions and garlic. Beautiful. I'm going to set those down. I'm going to grab our grate and put that back on. You can see that flame's getting pretty hot already. Those fires are really popping up there. I'm going to move. I'm going to show you how we get here in just a second. But we're going to just shut this down a little bit. Open our vents up. Whew, boy, that smells good. Okay. Now, while our grill is getting ready, it's easy for you to say, while our grill's getting ready, let's show you what we do to get our Hassel Cattle Company meat going. So I took about a 2.5 pound beef tenderloin last night, and I just filleted it right down the middle. Really simple to do. Let me get my gloves on here before we get started. You know, when you work with great ingredients like Wagyu beef, there's one main thing that you want to ensure. Just don't mess it up. If you just put salt and pepper on it and threw it on the grill, it would taste fantastic, right? So we're going to take our tenderloin, right? We're just going to slice it right down the middle, right? Look at that, nice marbling. Now, a tenderloin isn't going to be the most flavorful cut. I think the most flavorful cuts are things like porterhouse and T-bones, those types of cuts. But this is going to be just an amazingly tender piece of meat. Okay, so let's talk about our filling. The filling is really, really simple. I just sautéed some arugula and spinach with some shallots. Really simple stuff. Did that last night. I got about a half a cup, maybe a cup in there. You can see the beautiful shallots in there. Arugula, spinach. We're going to put that in our bowl. We're going to mix that with a bunch of Gorgonzola cheese. Might as well just put all that cheese in there, right? You can get crumbled Gorgonzola. You can do it with blue cheese, whatever cheese you like. I like a little bit of breadcrumbs, helps it bind a little bit more, so we're going to bind that a little bit. Maybe about a quarter of a cup to a half a cup, something like that. Then we're just going to take this mixture here. We're going to take this mixture and we're just going to mix it all up. Going to get our hands dirty. We got our other charcoal just about ready to go. I might move that off the set here. We're smoking out. You can see that smoke just billowing out of that Primo. Looks great back there. Look at all that smoke just coming out. All that smoke is just permeating all the way through. Close that down a little bit. Get a little bit less air in there. Okay, now you've got this beautiful mixture, right? We're going to go back to our beef tenderloin. Whoa, it's a full bottle of oil. We're going to add just a little bit of oil. Spread that around. Just helps it bind a little bit. You don't want too much. You don't want it to be real greasy. Just want something to help it bind. Okay? We're going to add a little bit of salt to the inside. We're going to add a little bit of pepper to the inside. We're going to take this mixture. Look at that. We're just going to put that right inside. Try to fill it up as much as you can. Now with this you can do as little or as much as you like. If you don't want a bunch of cheese in there, then don't put a lot of cheese. If you want a little bit more, I love cheese. So we're going to put as much in there as we can. Okay? Once that's done, I'm going to get a little bit of tie-in twine. A little inside joke there. A little bit of twine. We're going to open up a little bit, cut a piece off. Now, there's a lot of butchers out there that are probably going to laugh at how I'm going to tie this up. But the main thing is you don't want it to open, right? So we're going to close up our meat, put any more little pieces in there that may have fallen out. Bring our twine over and just start tying. Okay? I'm going to tie it from this end. We're going to just go all the way down. Get that end nice and tied off. And this will seize up a little bit more as you start cooking, so no worries. And again, the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. You can leave a little loop on the end if you want. You can leave a little loop on the end if you want to hang it. That's getting pretty popular lately. I like to do a couple of loops. I didn't make my string long enough. So, if you don't make your string long enough, just cut that piece and get yourself another piece. Alright? Use 2 or 3 pieces if you want. You can be fancy and have it all tied up like a nice butcher would have it tied up. Main thing is just to get it tied so that inside doesn't come out. You could add a lot of different things to this too. You could add bacon. You could wrap this whole tenderloin in bacon if you wanted to. You could add any kind of herbs you like. Thyme, sage, tarragon. Those are nice strong herbs that stand up real well. Right? You can hear our charcoal back there. You can see that once the smoke has died off a little bit, you're just getting heat. Right? It's pretty hot right over here. You're just getting straight heat. Now let's come back to our tenderloin and let's just clean this up, clean these strings up a little bit so we don't have a lot of strings hanging into our grill. Okay? 1, 2, 3. Now we've got a spinach, arugula, and gorgonzola stuffed beef tenderloin. Look at that. Doesn't that look fantastic? Okay, right to the top of that, really simply, we're going to add just a little bit more olive oil to the outside of the tenderloin. Rub it around a little bit on the back, a little bit on the back. There we go. Okay, now we're just going to salt and pepper this a little bit. Try to stay a little bit high when you salt and pepper things. Helps you get the salt and pepper around a little bit more evenly. A little bit of pepper, just to taste, however you like it. Okay, now your meat's done. Oh, look at that. Doesn't that look fantastic? And we're going to take our meat, and we're going to place it on a cool side of the grill. I like to have 2 zones. I like to have 2 zones on the grill. All of my grill and charcoal and everything that I have that's burning hot is on the right side. And the left side for me is nice and cool. So we can just get a nice, easy cook right here on the left-hand side. Okay? Gonna change these gloves out a little bit and clean up my space. That's the thing that I do probably the most in the kitchen, is just to make sure that your space that you're cooking on is cleaned up. Okay, we've got some disposable cutting mats. Right? I'm gonna take this one off as well. Now we're left with our nice clean board. We've got clean hands. We've got a bunch of clean Gunter Wilhelm knives that we can do some of our final slicing. And it's very important to make sure that we check the temperature of the meat that we're cooking. Okay? So right now on this one that I've got in here from a little bit earlier, we're about 95 degrees. Look at that. Just about 100 degrees. Okay? I like to take my tenderloin off when they're about 125 to 130, but we're going to show you some other things that you can do with a tenderloin that's going to make it taste just as fantastic. Look at that. So we've got one for maybe for my dinner tonight. I think this one's going to be for lunch today. So we've got plenty to eat. Inside here, if you can see, we've got our woods just burning nice. Okay? They're starting to burn down to coals almost. We're starting to make charcoal out of the wood in our own burner. So we've got our cherry, our hickory wood, we've got our garlic and onion briquettes, we've got our lump charcoal. Everything is really cooking down really nicely. We've got a nice fire here. Temperature's probably around, yikes, it's pretty hot. It's probably around 500 degrees inside there. So again, we're just going to close that off. And what's most important here, is we're going to let our grill do the work. Okay? You've got great tools. You've got good lump charcoal. You've got good briquettes. You've got great ways to start your food. You've got a great grill. This Primo Kamado grill here is a fantastic tool. You can cook on this for hours with just a little bit of charcoal by adjusting your vents on the bottom and your vents on the top. So we're just going to let our tools do the work, and we're going to set that and let it cook for a little while. Okay? The second part of this recipe is probably my favorite, because I really like bourbon and whiskey, and that's what we're going to use here. So part 2 of the recipe, when our steak starts to get close to done, is we're going to take our cast iron pan and we're going to put it over one of the hotter sides of the grill. Cooking with cast iron is fantastic. There's a lot of people out there that like to cook with soapstone. Soapstone's fantastic to cook on as well. It's not as porous as cast iron is, so you can do a lot of cooking just right on the grill. And there's a lot of great people out there that are doing that, and a lot of great recipes. Cast iron for me is fantastic because you can use it and season it, and it really brings in all of those great flavors of cooks that you've done, throughout the years and months. So with this, we're going to add some fresh rosemary. Now, this rosemary comes to me from my sister, actually. We just moved here to Henderson, Nevada. We're here just south of Las Vegas. Just moved in about a month ago. And my sister came down and she cut a couple of sprigs of our grandparents' rosemary, and she planted it for me and put it in a pot. And this rosemary is, probably 150, maybe even close to 200 years old, this plant. It's a really old plant. It comes from our family, and we've been cooking with it for generations. So it's nice to keep some of those family traditions going. We'll take our rosemary, we'll put it in there. Our butter's getting a little soft. We'll take our butter, we'll put that butter in there, and then we're going to get our pan ripping hot, okay? So we're going to take our pan. We're sitting at about 350 degrees up at the top side. So look at that smoke, look at this color, right? All right, so we're going to leave this open now. You can see this beef tenderloin back here, it's already getting good color on it. That cherry wood really imparts a really nice color. Look at this red. Oh man, I can't wait to cut into that. I'm going to turn it here. I'm going to flip it onto this side here. Make sure we're cooking it on all sides. Beef tenderloin is super tender, so you really want to make sure you don't overcook it. It doesn't have a lot of fat in it, right? So if you overcook it, it's going to get dry really quickly. So we're at about 100 degrees here. Okay, our pan's getting nice and warm. This is going to cook a little bit longer as we cook in the cast iron here. Is that total? Okay, so we're just checking on our time here, guys, to make sure that we don't run out of time while we're showing you what we're doing. Okay, so we're pretty well set. We've got, we could have some peppercorns in there. I'm just going to season this a little bit with some pepper right on the top of the pan there, and a little bit of salt. Some people actually season their grill with salt and pepper, so we're going to give that a shot. It looks like these could use a little bit more, a little hit there. All right, look at that. When you open that and you expose your grill to all of the oxygen, you're really getting that heat, right? So make sure we don't touch that pan because it will burn you. But cast iron is a great tool for this. It'd be great if we had a spoon, and then you could just ladle this this butter right over the top of the meat once it comes off. So let's come back to our charcoal here. So everything is burned off. All of the starter has burned off. And when you get, it's been about 20 minutes, you can see our fire's right up about halfway on the charcoal chimney. That's about the perfect time. That's about the perfect time to take your charcoal out of the charcoal chimney and dump it into your grill. Okay, so you want to, it's going to take you about 15 minutes. It'll be lit a little bit earlier than that. It depends on a lot of things. Is it windy outside? Do you have a lot of airflow? Are you in a nice open area? A lot of different factors. But it's going to take you about 15 minutes to get a really good char and a really good burn on all of that charcoal, especially with this natural oak and hickory lump. So oak and hickory lump, the flavors that it imparts is just fantastic. We've got a spoon here. You can hear that sizzle. I'm going to put a glove on here because it's going to get a little hot. Okay. We'll present this to the camera here a little bit so you can see that rosemary and the butter. All that rosemary flavor smells so good. All that rosemary flavor is just getting into that butter, and then we're just going to ladle it right over the top of our meat. Guys, if you don't have a heat glove, make sure you go out and get one. They're really important to use. Okay. So as this starts going back, this part's we're going to get a little bit dangerous. Now we're going to start to sear this, right? We're starting to get up to temp. We're starting to get close. We want to get a nice crust and a nice sear right on the outside of this meat. And you got that, all of that smoke and heat from that wood just kissing that meat. You can see the smoke. You can see the fire coming up right now. We're going to let that go for just a minute or two. Then we're going to flip it over. We're going to let it hit the other side. And then we're going to take that whole thing, we're going to add it to the cast iron pan. Once we add it to the cast iron pan, we're going to take some of our bourbon and we're going to add it right to. Be really careful because it's going to flame up and it's going to get hot. Hopefully we don't catch this tree on fire. But it's going to impart, look at that, nice little grill marks right there, searing up nice. Boy, this looks great, guys. With that, I'm going to keep a couple separate tools here. We're going to turn this one over, see how we're doing. Not sure where those little guys came from, but we'll get them out of here. Okay. And you can tell it's getting ready. You know, Hassel Cattle, they do such a great job with their American Wagyu. Konnichiwa, y'all, as they say. If you haven't started ordering this product, they've got all kinds of things. Beef jerky, ground hamburger meat, sliders all ready to go. These beautiful tenderloin steaks. Excellent stuff. Oh, you can see those grill marks there. I think we're just about ready. I think we're just about ready with this piece. So we're going to put this right back into the pan. Hopefully you can hear that. We're going to add a little bit of our bourbon. Just let that fire burn that alcohol off. Just let that fire burn all of that alcohol, right? We're going to add a little more there. Oh, yeah. That's ripping. That's hot, guys. So the main thing that you have to remember about cooking with fire and cooking with live fire and adding things like alcohol to your grill, if things start to get out of control, what's the main thing that you can do? What's the top number one? All you got to do is this. Close it. Don't get the water. Don't be crazy. Don't freak out. I tell my kids all the time, the most important thing to do in the crisis situation is what? Don't panic. Don't panic, okay? Just close the top and you'll be back to good. So we're going to add some of this juice. We're going to flip this around. You can see how this is getting all caramelized in there. All caramelized. I had my glove here somewhere. It's getting all caramelized. If you want to tip it up a little bit, you can add some of this right to the top. Yeah. Just keep it nice and moist. You don't want anything to dry out. You can see this meat starting to seize up. There's one of those pieces of rosemary right on top. Guys, all we're doing again, what's been the theme of today? We've been imparting flavor, right? Imparting flavor. All we want to do is impart flavor. And this is an extra step. If you don't like the taste of bourbon, I'm sorry for you in the first place, but don't add it. Don't add it, just take it off. Add some barbecue sauce if you want. It's a beef tenderloin, so you may not want to do that, but add what you like. The most important thing, guys, is add what you like. Do what you like. Okay? I think we're about ready here. We're getting close to the end. If it were me, I'd let it sit for just a few more minutes. We're going to let this one cook nice and slow, like I said, for dinner tonight. I'm going to take it off. Oh, look at that. Look at that. We're going to take that off. We're going to put it right on our board. I'll put it up here so you can see it a little bit easier. We're going to slide things around just so we don't burn too much. Okay, now we've got our meat. So I would typically let this sit for about 15 minutes or so, just to let all the juices come back. I just kind of want to cut open this thing so you can see what it looks like right in the middle, right? So we've got these beautiful knives. And look at that, guys. Look at that. You can see all of that juice. I like my beef a little bit on the medium rare side. This is perfect. This is perfect. We got about 125 right in the middle. And look at those nice little wheels. Those nice little wheels of Gorgonzola. Give this a try here and see. Huh. That's fantastic. Hey, I've been Daniel Moznett. Thank you very much for spending a little bit of time talking about lump charcoal. I'm passionate for it. If you have any questions about how to start lump charcoal, where to get cowboy lump charcoal or anything like that, please go to cowboycharcoal.com. We're here to answer any questions that you might have. That tastes so good. I'm going to go back and get some more. As always, guys, thanks for joining us here on Bama-Q Live.